Have you ever been watching a great movie only to have it ruined by a completely unbelievable ending? Welcome to WatchMojo's Troped, the series where we deconstruct the cliches, archetypes, and story devices that won't go away. Before we begin, we publish new videos every day, so be sure to subscribe for more great content. In this episode, we're taking a look at Deus Ex Machina, when a writer has written themselves into a corner by creating a scenario so impossible to overcome or offering their characters little to no hope of survival, and then suddenly, from nowhere, something or someone new swoops into the action just in time to save the day. Well, you've got yourself a Deus Ex Machina.
Causing the alien ship to come to our aid was a very effective plot development.
Who says Deus Ex Machina is an outdated literary device?
Remember walking out of the theater after the last Lord of the Rings movie and thinking, wow, those giant eagles really came out of nowhere, and what great timing. Well, you were witness to one of the oldest and most overused narrative devices in the history of storytelling, and it definitely wasn't the first time.
I have you now. What?
These days, people only ever use the term negatively, as a kind of shorthand for lazy writing or an anticlimactic ending. But that isn't always the case, and it didn't start off that way. So, where'd this trope originate? The term, like so many story devices that still persist today, got its start in Greek theater, where a big wooden crane delivered what may have been the world's first special effect. The crane used a pulley system to hoist actors playing gods into the air to give the illusion of a god descending from above. Hence, Deus Ex Machina, which translates from Latin to God out of the machine. Sophocles, Aeschylus, and especially Euripides, these dudes love to throw in some divine intervention in the third act, and the audiences love them for it. It was all gravy until Aristotle started cramping their style in his book Poetics, telling everyone that the resolution of conflicts in stories should arise internally through character actions, not just from deities who show up out of left field to make everything right again. Despite the criticism, the trope has persisted in the Western tradition. Heck, even Moliere and Shakespeare are guilty of using it, and they are the greatest playwrights of their respective languages. So where have we seen this before? There are countless examples of this trope in modern pop culture, from the eagles in Return of the King, to the Wicked Witch of the West inexplicably melting when splashed with water in The Wizard of Oz.
I'm melting! Melting!
Or, in a more self-aware example, the ending of Dodgeball, when the average Joes are presented with a chest of money after an intentionally convoluted plot point delivered purely through exposition about Vegas odds and company shares ensures a happy ending. And hey, wait a second, the chest actually says Deus Ex Machina on it. How much more self-aware can you get? Another popular variation of this trope, which is commonplace in tons of comics and superhero movies, is when the writer suddenly grants a character a new ability which has never been shown or explained that fixes everything in the tidiest way possible. Take for instance the final films in the Matrix trilogy, when Neo suddenly has the ability to use his powers outside of the Matrix.
Come on, Neo, I need help here.
I can't beat them.
What do we do?
Or the often parodied scene from Superman the movie, when Supes discovers Lois Lane's dead body and goes faster than a speeding bullet around the Earth, reversing time itself to fix everything, and undercutting a lot of what happened earlier in the film.
To do what you're asking, I'd have to turn back time. Superman did it!
There are some famous cases of this trope that are hotly debated, like the ending of H.G. Wells' novel The War of the Worlds and its many adaptations, including the Steven Spielberg-directed 2005 film. One side will argue that the ending is indeed a Deus Ex Machina. The alien race are smart enough to travel to Earth with advanced weapons technology, but are ultimately defeated by bacteria, which they somehow didn't account for.
From the moment the invaders arrived, breathed our air, ate, and drank, they were doomed.
The other side will argue that it isn't a good example, because there's an internal logic and science propping it up, rather than just a god showing up to magically zap the aliens away. Going back to ancient Greece for a second, Aristotle in Poetics says that tragedies hinge upon a moment of recognition in the hero, and the worst, least creative kind of recognition he calls signs. Well, in both these cases, these plot points fix the seemingly unsolvable problem the characters are facing, are completely independent of the characters' actions, and aren't set up earlier in the story, thereby surprising the audience when they come up. All the ingredients for a classic God out of the machine moment. But does that automatically make these bad endings? For the Greeks, it was actually an accurate depiction of how they saw life. The gods do what they want, and we mortals are at their mercy. In individualist societies, like most of the Western world, this worldview just doesn't stand up. But there are some times where a Deus Ex Machina ending is so self-aware or so fun that they're forgivable and enjoyable, and just maybe there's a certain truth to them. Sometimes life is random and unexpected. For every unbelievably unlikely Deus Ex Machina ending that a writer deploys to get out of a corner, there's an even more unbelievable and less likely story that really happened.
If you can't find that stuff in life, then you, my friend, don't know crap about life.
When used well, Deus Ex Machina reminds us that life is often really strange. Unexpected and convenient coincidences happen all the time.
This happens. This is something that happens.
So this trope can't always be chalked up to lazy writing, just most of the time. So what do you think of the ending of War of the Worlds? And what are some of your favorite or least favorite examples of Deus Ex Machina?
Do you agree with our picks? Check out these other great clips from WatchMojo and subscribe for new videos every day.